host of the Gridiron.
I'll tell you what, success leaves clues. Now, obviously, you can't go back in time and talk to the 19. I could spend 9 years talking about the 1925 season, because obviously that was the first season of the Giants. But success leaves clues. And you go back 100 years ago, right? The 1925 Chicago Bears. Now the Giants this season are going to play 17 games. I just want to make sure. What was the Bears' record, Carolina? 1925. Okay, they were 9-5-3. 9 wins, 5 losses, 3 ties. They played 17 games, but they played a lot more than 17 games. What happened was Red Grange came out of college. He played his final game against Ohio State toward the end of November 1925. After there was no draft then, so after he played his final game, he left school and he became a pro. He signed with the Chicago Bears. Well, he was such a draw that the Bears just started playing all kinds of games. After the season was over with, they went on a barnstorming tour. I can't remember exactly. I could look it up, but that's either here or there. But after the season was over with, they went down to, let's see, they played in, I believe they played in Louisiana, but they played a few games in Florida. Then I think they went over to Louisiana. They played like 3 or 4 games in Southern California. Then they played a game in Oregon. Then they played a game in Washington. They played like probably at least 10 games after the season was over with, just to make money. Actually, it was interesting because I think it was Christmas Day, 1925. They played a game in Florida, Coral Gables Collegians. It's either Coral Gables, I can look it up once again, but it's either here or there. It's either Coral Gables Collegians or the Coral Gables All-Stars. They built a stadium just specifically for the game. And actually, it's interesting. After that game was over, the Bears started playing a couple other games. The Giants played a game down there, too, in that same stadium against the Coral Gables Collegians or All-Stars, whatever they're called. But they built a stadium just for Red Grange for the game. It was basically all out of wood. They built it in like a couple weeks. They just threw it up real fast. They only got a few thousand people, so it was very disappointing. But the thing is that the Bears that season played 17 games. Right? The Giants this season are playing 17 games. The 1925 Chicago Bears played the 17 games with a grand total of 24 players. And the kick right in the cojones, right, square dab right in the cojones, right? Because back then they played offense and defense. The guys didn't come off the field. So we got guys, right? They got 24 guys all season long, played all 17 games, right? And they played offense and defense. We got guys, we got special teamers. Oh, that's another thing, too. My bad. I apologize. They played offense, defense, and special team. I mean, whoever the punter was for the team was on the offense. It was their end. It might have been their fullback, their halfback, their quarterback. Right? They didn't come off the field. They're kicking a field goal. They're not running guys on and off the field. Yeah, no. The defense, they just stay out on the field, and they did that with they did that with some of the crappiest fields you'll ever see in your life. Mud bowl, I mean, just crappy weather. 24 players they played with. Fast forward 100 years, right? And the Giants, I mean, they got the best of the best. They got strength and conditioning coaches and weight training programs, and they got the best food, and they got the best this, and they got all of this stuff. And And the Giants have had, I think now with Armand Watts, I think going on IR, I think with Giants have had to be 28 guys. And I saw a report that Raheem Lane was going to be going on IR, but apparently maybe not. I don't know if he's on IR or not. I'm not exactly sure. But Giants can almost have like 28 or 29 or so guys on IR throughout the whole season. And the Bears in 1925 played the whole season, 17 games with 24 guys. But the thing is that, it's not like these other teams, their players are special. They have magical knees, or they have magical backs, or this or that. There's certain teams like almost year in and year out that stay relatively healthy. Then there's other teams year in and year out that almost every year get decimated by injuries, like the Giants. Success leaves clues. Now, obviously, I said you can't go back 100 years and talk to the 1925 Chicago Bears. Once again, I said played 17. I played even more. They played over 30 games that year because in between, right? Let me pull this up here. In between 1925. Chicago. In between their games, they played exhibition games. I gotta find the right. Here we go. Is this gonna have it? Yep. Here we go. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. They finished it. They finished their season. They finished their 1925. This is the Bears. They finished their 1925 season on January 31st, 1926. They played, a couple of the games got canceled. So they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 20. They played 29 games. They played 29 games. Their first game was in September 20th. The final game was January 31st. So in a little over 10, 11, 12. Yeah. A little over 4 months, they played 29 games. 29 games. 24 players played 29 games. Absolutely amazing. I said after the season was over with, the final game of the season was against the Cleveland. No, that was canceled. Final game of the season was against the Giants on December 13th. The Giants won 9-0 in Wrigley Field. It actually was called Cubs Park back then. But after the season was over with, they played the Coral Gable Collegians. They played Tampa Bay. They played in Jacksonville. Then they played the Southern All-Stars in New Orleans. Then they went out to play in Los Angeles. They played in San Diego. They played in San Francisco. Then they played Portland, Oregon. And they played Seattle. But they played 29 games all season long. I'm just saying, success leaves clues. If there's other teams out there that don't get as injured year in and year out, wouldn't it be? I don't know if they could pick a phone up and something. One Mr. Marek call another owner or something like that. Could we just come by and see what we don't want to see your plays or not whatever. See what your facilities look like. Talk to somebody. What do you guys? I don't know. Whatever. What do you guys feed them? Where do they work out? What machinery do you have and stuff like that? Wouldn't it be worth your while? I mean, because it's just nothing is going to kill your season faster than injuries. And it seems like every year the Giants are just totally. I did a video earlier this week. The Giants are probably close up to now about 60 guys who throughout the course of the season have had some type of injury designation. 60 guys. And we're close to almost 30 guys have been put on IR this season. I mean, it's just, and these are it's a brutal sport. I get it and all that stuff. But how can some teams almost year in and year out stay relatively healthy? And it just seems like, whatever. 4 out of every 5 years, the Giants get totally decimated by injuries. Is it the turf? I mean, other teams playing grass, we're playing on turf. I mean, it just pisses me off. Absolutely pisses me off. But it just goes to show you, right? If you go back 100 years in time, right? Guys back then played offense and defense. And the 1925, there was other teams like that too. But the 1925 Chicago Bears played 17 games with a grand total of 24 players. And they played offense, they played defense, and special teams. They didn't come off the field. Our offense was 1, 2, 3 punt, right? They go on the sideline, they sit on the sideline for 5 or 10 minutes, and they do that almost all game long. And by the time the game's over with, guaranteed somebody's going to miss some time the following week because they get injured. Just simply absolutely amazing. That crap just pissed me off.